My name is Douglas Harrington. I am one of the admissions counselors here for Binghamton. This is my fourth year now at admissions, fourth year working with the Watson College, and specifically the computer science department. So incredibly excited for you to be here. Like I said, I am a Binghamton alum. I did graduate in 16 and 17 with both my bachelor's and master's. I am joined by my colleague, Craig Broccoli. Craig, if you want to introduce yourself real quick.
Hello, everybody who's tuning in today. I'm Craig Broccoli. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions for Binghamton University, based primarily in the New York City areas where I live. However, over the last 10 years, I've been working with students from all over this world, actually, thinking about coming to Binghamton. Prior to that, I did study at Binghamton inside the Watson College, but more so on the engineering front, and then business for graduate school. And no, I know you're thinking, Douglas, he sounds like a game show host. He is not. He's just super energetic, and he's going to navigate us through what is the world of computer science at Binghamton. I'll be on the back end. If you have any questions in that Q&A box is where we'll be focusing the attention for the questions throughout. So Doug, why don't you take us through?
Yeah, thanks so much, Craig. And I am joined by some wonderful students and current faculty here. Our current students are our lifeblood, and we certainly love to have them on all of our presentations. So we'll go through and have them do some quick introductions here before we get started with the actual presentation. So Allison, if you want to kick us off with just a quick introduction about yourself.
All right. Hi, guys. I'm Allison. I'm a senior computer science major from Rochester, New York. I was a part of the FRI program, and right now I'm on the e-board for HackBU and Women in Tech at Binghamton. I recently accepted a full-time job in New York City, so super excited to talk to all of you today and help you learn about the CS program.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Nicholas, how about you?
Hey guys, my name is Nick. I am a senior studying computer science at Binghamton. I grew up in Binghamton and I decided to go here, stay home, go to college. Worked out pretty well. So my plans for the future are I plan to continue going to Binghamton for a master's degree, and I work at the IT department. I've been there for about a year and a half doing an internship, and I can plan on continuing to work there into my master's degree as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Alex, how about you?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? So I'm Alex. I'm a senior studying computer science. I've greatly enjoyed my time here at Binghamton. I've been pretty involved on campus, specifically with CORE, the Living Learning Community, which we can talk more about later, and some other groups. I've had the pleasure of doing 2 internships, 2 summers at Google and 1 spring at Tesla, and I'm very excited to talk to all of you.
All right, thanks so much. Thanks for joining us this evening. Madison, how about you?
Hey, so hi guys, I'm Madison. I'm a senior in math and computer science. I'm from Mechanicville, New York, and at Binghamton I've been involved in HackBU and ACM, and like Allison, I've also just recently accepted a full-time job offer.
Congratulations. That's a really big accomplishment. So I'd love to hear that. Teresa, if you want to take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm Teresa. I'm a senior majoring in computer science, and I'm also minoring in classical civilizations. I am the president of HackBU. I've also been involved with other things like UPE, which is our CS Honor Society. I interned at Capital One last summer, and I accepted a full-time job for IBM after I graduate. So happy to be here and answer any questions.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And our last student tonight is Henry.
Hi, my name is Henry. I'm also a double major in math and CS. I involved in CORE, was, I guess, president of ACM, not really sure. And I interned at Google twice, Acuna Capital, and Tesla.
Wow, very impressive.
Oh, and I'm a senior majoring in CS. So.
Hey, there we go. Very impressive. Thanks so much for joining. And of course, lastly, if Eileen, you want to spend a few seconds to introduce yourself as well.
Hi, I'm Eileen Head, and I'm a senior citizen. You're supposed to laugh. Anyway, I'm the undergrad director for computer science, and I have the pleasure of having most of these students this semester, and I will have the others going forward. And I look forward to you coming to Binghamton. We have a lot of great opportunities for you to do lots of different things and find your own path. That's it.
Thanks so much, Eileen. Thank you for all of our panelists again for joining us this evening. We're going to have a great session in store for everyone who is watching. Craig, if you wouldn't mind, I'll turn it over to you right now. We do have a short major minute video about computer science that we'd certainly love for you to check out. And so Craig is going to share his screen and make sure he shares the audio as well. And then you can go ahead.
All right, everybody, here's a quick little intro to CS before we hear from Professor Eileen Head again.
Hi, I'm Julie. I'm from Syracuse, New York, and I'm going to tell you about computer science at Binghamton University in 60 seconds. The reason I chose my major is because computer science allows you to go into any field and also continuously be learning. My favorite class so far has been data structures and algorithms because it teaches me important concepts for technical interviews and is the reason that I've gotten my first internship at Google this summer. Some of the clubs that you can be involved in on campus includes HackBU, which is an organization that does weekly workshops on coding skills, as well as hosts an annual hackathon every year where you can compete against other students and develop your own projects. One thing that has surprised me about my major is how supportive both the faculty and other students are when it comes to working on classwork or developing your own projects and ideas. In 5 to 10 years, I hope to have found what exactly I want to do in terms of either research or going into industry and be doing meaningful work in that area. And that's been computer science in 60 seconds at Binghamton University.
Well, thank you for that, Julie. And we have plenty of other students who are going to give you their insight. So, Doug, why don't you take us away again?
Yeah, thanks so much, Craig, for sharing that. And I am going to go ahead and share my screen where like I said, we do have a great presentation focusing on computer science within the Watson College of Engineering and Applied Sciences. Certainly love to start off, as you can see there, that's our beautiful campus. We do have about a 1,000-acre campus that does sit here in the beautiful upstate New York. It's peak leaf season right now, so all that greens are now beautiful oranges, yellows, and reds that we certainly love to see here in upstate New York. So just a little overview of what we're going to go over today. We're going to try to go over as much of computer science as we can, especially, like I said, the university investments into computer science and Watson specifically, definitely the computer science major with the different curriculum and everything else that we're going to go through as well. So with that, we're going to get started. Computer science is an absolutely fantastic program that we have here. It is a direct entry program, so you are immediately considered a computer science student as soon as you step foot on this campus once you do come to Binghamton, with all those opportunities right from the very, very beginning. You heard all of the amazing experiences that our students, in those introductions, have already kind of gone through, and that's what you can kind of expect to kind of look forward to during your 4 years here at Binghamton within the computer science program. Our Watson College has gone through so many great upgrades and updates with our engineering building. In itself, some great physical upgrades, a multi-million-dollar project that has just wrapped up with new lab spaces and everything like that, especially for our computer science students. I did get a tour of it, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Incredibly jealous of all of our students who do get to use those facilities now today. And just a really great facility now to kind of foster that environment, that collaborative environment here at Binghamton that we certainly strive for. So lots of amazing, brand new equipment and everything like that we certainly love to highlight. Now, at this point, if you're not exactly sure what computer science is, or, you might have a little idea of it or anything like that, there's certainly lots to kind of learn about computer science and what exactly the major kind of entails. So at this point, I'm going to kind of turn it over to Eileen. She's been with us for a very, very long time to kind of go into the kind of the depths of the major itself and what exactly it's like to be a computer science student.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So computer science is not coding. Coding is just the way you express your ideas. If you don't like to code, you will not be a happy CS major. But that doesn't mean you have to be doing coding in high school. The first year when you enter Binghamton, if you haven't done any programming, we do have an introductory coding course so that you can get started out and you still can graduate in 4 years. If you've done a lot of coding, whether or not it's been a class or you've done it on your own, you'll start with our first CS required course, which is hardware, computer programming and hardware fundamentals. And then then you'll go on to programming with objects. Okay, next one. I have no energy. You want to say something, Doug?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's a great program. Like I said, you kind of hit the ground running with computer science, and like Eileen kind of said, you're not really, you don't have to have that programming experience in high school. Plenty of successful CS graduates that have gone through the Binghamton program really didn't have any experience in high school. So you can certainly start off with that great foundation that we have. And definitely love to point out, you can see there in that picture. Eileen, I don't know if you want to talk about that picture. I know it's one of your favorite pictures that we have.
So Henry in the background with the hair. He is a sophomore, and he was leading a team of the four people around him. There's a woman on the left, and she was a student that graduated about five or 6 years ago. She first went to Microsoft, and now she's at Google. And in the way back, there's an old guy with short hair. That's my son. He got a bachelor's in math and computer science and PhD in math. And he came back last year, and they had the Google game thing, and that's the team that run. One of the things I'm most proud about is that our alumni come back. In fact, Michelle's coming back this semester, and I just saw Jennifer Lay, who graduated about 10 years ago, and they just come back and they're supportive of other students going forward.
No, absolutely, and that's a great thing to say. Certainly love to highlight our alumni. We do have some of the most amazing alumni around, many of which who live and work in the New York City and Philadelphia metro areas. So since we're so close to those areas, they certainly love to come back and help out our students as much as they possibly can, especially recruiting for their companies. You've heard Google a lot already in this presentation between our students who have done internships and already, coming and partnering with us for one of their events. So, Google is certainly one of the top companies that we do send our students to. So I certainly love to highlight that. Now, of course, we do have lots of different projects and applied learning and groups and organizations that students are part of when being a computer science student. You'll certainly have plenty of projects throughout your 4 years here at Binghamton within the computer science major. But one thing that Eileen actually just reminded me of right before the presentation started was that, we do have our engineering programs as well that do have capstone projects at the end of their career here at Binghamton. That computer science students, it's entirely optional that students do participate in those projects. But if you want to expand your horizons, you want to be a part, and you want to do those hands-on senior capstone projects, you certainly can. It's those opportunities do exist for you. So we don't want to just hold you accountable for the things that you're required to do. Go through the curriculum, and we want you to kind of expand and seek out those opportunities.
Right.
As well.
Let me second that. In fact, the students could start the capstone projects in their junior year.
Absolutely. We want you to kind of take the reins and make what you. I love kind of what you said, Eileen, about coding, and it's not just about coding. It's expressing how you feel through code, which is pretty cool. And of course, we have other amazing organizations. You've heard a couple people talk about HackBU. Who was the president? It was Teresa, right? That's what I thought. Teresa, you want to take a little bit more time and talk about the beauty of what HackBU is?
Yeah. So as I think it was Julie in that 60-second video mentioned, we host weekly workshops every week. Well, yeah, weekly. And we just discuss like upper level CS topics like machine learning, web development, and other things like that you wouldn't typically run into until like 400 level classes. But like obviously anyone can come, freshman, sophomore, it doesn't matter. You don't even have to be a CS major to come. So it's also great for like networking in that way, because you'll meet like older CS majors or also other people who are interested in CS. So it's great for that. And then we also have our annual hackathon. If you don't know what a hackathon is, it's a 24-hour event where you can come and you can work by yourself or with a group and create a project, and then you can submit that project and possibly earn prizes. And we also have companies sponsor it, and then they send people to come like look at all the hackathon projects and also chat with everyone. So that's also great for networking. So lots of good opportunities at HackBU.
Absolutely. It's an incredibly popular organization that we have on our campus.
Why doesn't Henry should talk about the Deloitte contest?
Yeah, Henry, if you want to talk about the Deloitte cybersecurity competition, you can go right ahead.
I mean, sure. So Alex can also at least partly speak to it. I went with him last year, and we didn't win, but he wasn't available, Or sorry, I went with him 2 years ago. But last year, me and a bunch of friends decided to apply for this cybersecurity competition because we wanted to travel to Texas together and stay up in this, really nice hotel that would get put up by Deloitte and get all the free food and just have a good time, We didn't really go in expecting to win because we just kind of wanted to screw around and have fun, But I don't know. Lo and behold, we ended up taking second, and so we all came home with $1,000 and a pretty nice clear glass or whatever trophy. So.
Yeah, to explain a little bit more about what the competition is, it's a cybersecurity competition hosted by Deloitte, which is one of the big four accounting firms. And so basically you go in and get given a bunch of tasks related to cybersecurity, and you have to explain how the mock company could do better with their cybersecurity and how they could improve how they handle their tech and what possible vectors that attackers could come in. And it's a really fun competition, yeah, as Henry was saying.
And for a frame of reference, there are some pretty decent schools there. I think Carnegie Mellon, Virginia Tech have teams, so it's, Binghamton holds its own.
Absolutely. That certainly attests to the quality of our students that we have here, and certainly, what they learn here at Binghamton and can take it and, apply it to the real world and real life experiences through those different competitions that our students are a part of. So that's definitely a great experience that our students get to have, that might not necessarily get to have at other places. And you can see that we have some other coding groups, Women in Tech, Girls Who Code. We're a very diverse department here, within computer science, having students from all different walks of life here represented within the computer science program. So I certainly want to highlight that. And I know I saw a couple people get really excited when we mentioned core. So do we have a volunteer? Henry, I see you, flexing those muscles over there about core. So does anyone want to give a nice overview of what exactly core is? I know it's a pretty nice thing that we do have on our campus.
Alex is the president.
Yeah. So currently I'm the president of CORE. Henry's been with us for 3 years as well. But so CORE is basically the on-campus learning community where it's a group of 28 around folks who all live together, and we all basically have a basic interest in computers, robotics, and engineering. And that's what CORE stands for. And so we help each other, and we do projects together, and living together helps foster a community where you're able to have friendly competition and collaborative work, and it's a really nice experience for those who get to participate. And we've had some great alumni come back, and we always have outreach events. Actually, Eileen's son was on CORE back in the day, and so he's one of the alumni that has come back. But yeah, it's a great experience, and I've loved having my time here at CORE. And I'm the president right now, and things are going well. Yep.
Yeah, no, it's certainly, we do have lots of different learning communities, but definitely, CORE is certainly one that certainly, both our computer science and I believe our engineering, majors certainly love to be a part of and really experience that. It's an incredibly unique experience that you get, like you said, living with all these students, you get to work with one another and really form those bonds. So really great opportunities that we have through all the different learning communities, but of course, being CORE being one of them. So, of course, one of the things that we certainly love to talk about here at Binghamton is our research opportunities. We have a plethora of research opportunities. Being an R1 research institution, we want to give as many different students from as many different backgrounds the opportunity to pursue research here. And that certainly does include our computer science. So our computer science students are certainly above the rest in terms of participating in research and all the different types of research that we have going on around campus. You can see just a handful of topics that are included in computer science research, from machine learning to AI, image processing. There was also wireless networks, different things like that. One thing that I thought was really awesome that, doing a little bit more research, because, as an admissions counselor, we can always try to know as much as we possibly can about every aspect of Binghamton, but it is so incredibly hard to learn as much as we do. So I was doing a little research for the presentation and found out that Binghamton was actually named a cyber research center by NSA and the Department of Homeland Security, which I thought was pretty cool, being only one of the few in the country that have that designation.
Yeah, we're also doing research on drones.
Yeah, I know.
David Liu.
Right, David, right. Has anyone worked with David?
Not anybody in the group.
Not here, right? Yeah. So, drones are, lots of different applications with the drones and everything like that. And, there's certainly lots of opportunities to be involved with that groundbreaking research here at Binghamton. We want to make sure that our students are represented in that and have as many different opportunities through our undergraduate research center, where you can go and talk to different research advisors and see what kind of research is being done around campus, and just the different, opportunities that exist for our students in those fields. So we certainly want to, give those students those prospects, and just another thing that you can say, hey, I did this while I was at school, and certainly can help you land, one of those amazing internships or full-time jobs here. And of course, one of the big things that we always want to focus on is certainly, where is this going to take you? Now, Eileen, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure computer science still has the highest average starting salary amongst Binghamton graduates.
Pretty much. I mean, the ones that are really into, if you code real well and you problem solve real well, you can get out with a very high paying salary.
Right. So really amazing opportunities. And especially with our Watson Career Connections. So as a Binghamton University student, you will have access to what we call the Fleischman Center for Career and Professional Development. They are there for all of your internship and post-graduation needs, whether it be resume critiques, cover letter critiques, mock interviews, etiquette dinners, anything under the sun. But of course, being a Watson student, being in the Watson College of Engineering and Applied Sciences, you have access to our Watson Career Connections office, which is specific career counseling for all of our Watson students. So you not only have access to Fleischman, every student has access to Fleischman, but being a Watson student, you do have the specific access to the Watson Career Connections office. So they'll help go over the engineering and computer science specific resumes. They'll maybe do some mock interviews for maybe specific internships that you might be going through. And they also host amazing networking opportunities and trips with, we already talked about our amazing alumni that do love and come back and help out our students as much as possible. And especially, going into the different companies, these are just a small handful of the companies that do come and love to take our CS students. We already talked about Tesla and Google. Allison, do you want to talk about a little bit more about how maybe you ended up where you're kind of going? You said you just got, secured your full-time job for after you graduate. Maybe if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit more about how you ended up there?
Yeah, absolutely. So after my sophomore year, I entered at a health insurance company in Rochester. And then this past summer, I interned at Bloomberg LP. It was a fun remote internship. And I actually got that internship partially because an alumni referred me. And that alumni was someone that I met at HackBU my freshman year. So I actually accepted a full-time job offer with Bloomberg. It was really easy through the internship process to kind of graduate to full-time. So yeah, that was really exciting, and I probably wouldn't be there without that alum.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's an amazing story. And, like I said, our alumni love Binghamton so much that they want to – I mean, I'm an alum. Granted, it wasn't from Watson, but I certainly love Binghamton so much that I'm still here. I'm still working for them. Craig's an alum. Our alums certainly love to stick around and support this university as much as we possibly can. Madison, I don't know if you want to maybe talk about your experiences too, with your internships and full-time jobs and everything like that as well.
Okay, sure. So I started off with my first internship being really weird, but very much tied to Binghamton. I was in a class on public affairs, and a Binghamton University alumni who was on city council came to get interviewed. And as he was leaving, he was like, "Oh, does anyone want to volunteer for my art festival, Luma?" And so I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so he gives me his phone number. And then a few weeks later, he asked for my resume. And we're both expecting that I'm going to hand out maps the day of the festival. But he sees my resume and sees that I'm studying computer science. And he says, you know what? Here, have this building, and we're going to light up the building, and you can put anything you want on it during the festival. And so me and a bunch of other people put video games onto this building so people in the street can play video games during the festival. And so that helped me get my next internship. Because during an interview, there's nothing like being able to talk about, oh yes, I ran this entire project. And so last summer I interviewed at JP Morgan Chase and then accepted an offer from them.
And that's absolutely incredible. Our alumni present such amazing opportunities for our students. And Luma, I think it's honestly incredible that you got to say that you worked on Luma. It's one of my personal favorite events that happens here in Binghamton. It started a few years ago. Really amazing art festival that we have here. And our students are certainly involved in that, which is incredible. And, it can lead to so many great opportunities as well that, can lead into one of these companies that we have listed here. So certainly love to highlight that. Now, of course, Nicholas, if you want to talk about, I know that you're kind of planning on going into like grad school, correct? With this. So yeah. Maybe you want to talk about your experiences, going into the workforce is not your only option, right? So you can, if you want to talk about maybe your experience on what led you to kind of go, search out your master's degree.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I came to Binghamton, I was doing computer science, but I was kind of like an iffy doing computer science. I didn't know if I'd like it. I didn't know where I'd end up. I didn't know what I want to do. And then after the first year, I got to take a few classes, meet the professors, talk to Eileen, and I knew that this is something that I'd really want to do. So the next step was figuring out what I was going to do. So I've been interning at the IT department for about a year and a half, and I've learned a lot there. And it's really introduced me to like web development, security, things like that. But I want to spend more time exploring the different fields, taking some elective courses, getting really good at something that I enjoy doing. So I just want more time to kind of figure out what I want to do in the field instead of going out, getting a job somewhere and doing that, because I don't really know exactly what I want to do. And I think the master's program also gives you the opportunity to possibly, I want to get a PhD eventually. So I think it's a great step to getting that done now, getting a PhD. Eventually I'd like to teach classes. So it's a stepping stone towards that as well for me.
And that's, oh, go ahead, Eileen. Were you going to say something?
I was going to say that we don't have a 4+1, but Nicholas will be starting his graduate courses next semester, so he won't have to spend the year and a half or 2 years to graduate because he'll be starting classes early.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and certainly students come in with lots of different credits and stuff like that. They can certainly do that. Graduate early, have more flexibility with a lot of things. And start those master's programs a little bit earlier than some other students, which is really amazing. Now, of course, something that we certainly have to highlight here, you can see some of these pictures that we have that of some of our CS students and everything like that. But certainly that CS students are not one-trick ponies. They certainly love to kind of explore other aspects of their education. Eileen, I don't know if you want to talk about Melanie here.
Well, Melanie's dad was a musician. Melanie's mom was the computer person. And when Melanie was young, she actually played in Carnegie Hall. And she came to Binghamton. She did a double degree with music and CS. And now she works at Facebook in Seattle. And she was just a great student, wonderful to have, and just totally disciplined. We've had a number of CS majors that also are good in music. Some majors, some did minors. One of the nice things is that students can play in the orchestra and continue for 4 years and take care of a CS elective. It's a very nice thing. In the past we had a lot of students that did jazz, because this used to be a really good school for jazz.
Yeah, no, certainly music I know is very popular amongst the computer science students, but it really goes to show you that you can explore other opportunities, while doing computer science, and certainly do a double degree or a minor or anything like that while you're here. Who was the classics student? Who was involved with Teresa, right? What led you to the decision to do computer science and classics? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, so I took a few years of Latin in high school, and then my first semester freshman year, I just signed up for this random gen ed and it was in the classics department. And I really liked the professor. And one day they did their like generic, please major in the classics or like minor in the classics department. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. And it actually worked out really well because I just took all of my gen eds in the classics department. And then my Latin class from high school counted as one of my credits. So just by like taking my gen eds all in one department and having a little credit from high school, like I was able to get a minor.
And that's awesome. That really goes to show you that, the students here have so many great opportunities to not only explore the computer science, but really if you have a passion and you want to do that and you want to make it a minor or a double major or anything like that, there's certainly plenty of opportunities for you to kind of explore that.
Oh, can I say something about Henry? Henry is the guy sitting with the little drone. Last year, Henry was a senior, and he worked on the capstone project with people in electrical and computer engineering. And then he decided he wanted to come for a master's, and he's immediately accelerated. He's working on PhD with David Liu, working on the drones. So you just never know when a student's going to stay or whether a student's going to take off and get a fancy job. The picture down at the bottom is the other Burns. So there's two Henry Burns. One is John Henry Burns and the other one's Henry Burns. The other Henry Burns is the one we heard from, and that check is the money they made from the Deloitte contest. And one thing I found interesting about that is the kids found out about it from another student who was in the School of Business. So the kids do talk to other people and to other majors, and it's a wonderful thing to see how they all integrate well.
Yeah, no, we're certainly a very collaborative environment here amongst Binghamton. Our students certainly work well together, and we certainly, like I said, we always want to foster that environment here and make sure that our students, have the same goals in mind and certainly want to succeed here. So that kind of really wraps up the main portion of our presentation. Of course, please feel free if you have any questions and answers that you can certainly feel free to put them in the chat. But if you do have any other questions outside of the presentation, you can always feel free to reach out to us directly. You can see mine as well as Craig's contact information there. If you have specific admissions questions or anything like that, you can always feel free to reach out. So if you give me 1 second here, I will stop sharing. I'm going to check out the Q&A to see what kind of questions we have rolling in. Craig, I see you've listed some questions here as some that you want to be answered live. So maybe you want to take it away here, see what.
Yeah, I'll take a few of them, Doug. I might throw some back to you. And then, Doug, you can also throw it to our whole team here. But a question came through a little early on regarding when you apply to Binghamton. I get it. Most of you are in the application stage tuning in right now, thinking about CS. Maybe you knew for sure for a long time computer science was of interest to you. Maybe it's more of a curiosity at this point, or you're figuring out you're doing really well in math, or maybe becoming more passionate about what can you do with this. But there's a lot of options here. Now, the way we review at Binghamton, Doug sort of hinted at this in the beginning, you can apply to any program of interest on your application. We review you based on what you list on your application for the college at Binghamton that offers that particular program. So computer science falls within the Watson College of Engineering and Applied Science. We review you for that spot, right? In that regard, that we don't double review, look for other options. Granted, I just want to point this out just based on the timing we're in right now. This is called the early action time period. If you're applying anywhere between now and November 1st, that's early action. You could check early action on your application. What that does, it gives us in the admissions side a lot of time to review your application, let you know where you stand by mid-January. There are sometimes that opportunity that happens in mid-January into early February where if you are deferred to regular decision, meaning we want to take a deeper look at your scores in senior year, stay in touch with the admissions office. We'll talk about what your pathways are at that point. But I would recommend if you are thinking computer science, it's something that you're leaning towards, you should have it listed on your application. That usually puts you in the best path here towards the program of interest. Yes, students do switch once at Binghamton, but it's not a pathway that I think you should just enter in for the sake of it. It's one of those things that tends to happen, and there's a lot of advising behind the scenes that works with students on that path. And another question, we sort of touched on it, is how hard is the double major and minor with computer science? So this is where, Doug, can you explain the differences between our colleges and students? Some of you are already doing this. Just talk about the complexities or lack of.
Yeah, so what a lot of students will do, in terms of double majoring, especially being a computer science, a lot of them will find a double major in a different school. Many, like our Harper College of Arts and Sciences, that is what we refer to here at Binghamton as a double degree, meaning that you're getting 2 different degrees across 2 different schools of study, one being, Watson and one being Harper, just for example. It's something that you do have to apply for. So you apply for whatever program that you're not in. So say you start as computer science and you want to add a math major. Someone else is a double major in math and computer science. Is that correct here? It was Henry. Yes, I knew it was one of you. So you apply into that program, and then we review your application, and then we will essentially say whether or not you will be able to do that. So lots of students do double degree. There's certainly plenty of opportunities. I'm sorry, Henry, I missed what you said there.
Oh, I was just saying, and Madison.
Oh, and Madison, yes. So there's certainly lots of those opportunities to kind of, like I kind of mentioned, to explore your other, areas of interest here at Binghamton. You want to do computer science and English, or computer science and history. There's certainly those opportunities here.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a really good point, Doug, because that is essentially why maybe Binghamton would be a university that you're thinking about. We have an Watson College of Engineering and Applied Science with CS, but that's one of our 6 schools. There's so many choices here that essentially why you would go to a university with a liberal arts core is to enhance that degree path that you're thinking about. Maybe you do have that academic curiosity you can explore well outside of just your realm. And in the long run, if you're talking about what you're bringing to the world, adding value to a company, maybe starting your own organization, that's the true benefit, the exploration of all these diverse academic paths or areas that you have talent in. A question came in related to that about computer science and business. I do want to pull that one out for a second. Yes, we do have a school of management. That's one of the trickier ones to get a double degree in. It probably will add in a total of 5 years of undergrad, 2 undergrad degrees, that most students who are thinking about business, especially students in the Watson College there, would add it on as an MBA if they're really interested in it. It's 1 additional year to get all your business done. And to be frank, the industries out there who are looking for that mindset, they want to see your core undergrad in something like engineering or computer science and having the polish on the business end added on. So just consider that in terms of timing. It's probably best suited as an MBA that you could add on once you're at Binghamton.
In fact, a lot of students that do get jobs, the companies will pay for their MBA, just like Bloomberg. So computer science majors usually get jobs right out. They don't need to spend an extra year. And,
I just clicked on the question there. This question I want to rephrase. I think I understand where it's going. I was asking, is computer science essentially the basis for computer engineering? Now, there is a difference between the 2 disciplines, and maybe, Eileen, if you want to start with this.
All right. So computer science comes out of 3 fields. One is math. If you've heard of The Imitation Game and the Nazis and how we were saved, there was the Enigma machine. The person who worked on that was Alan Turing. Alan Turing had a PhD in math, and he was interested in the formalization of what does it mean to compute. So that's one part of computer science. But then we also have the practical part. And in modern times, the practical part is the engineering. So we sit sort of on top of how the hardware actually works, but we have to understand how the hardware works. And the other part is business, coming up with applications that people actually use. Whereas I think that computer engineering would be, for some, they do some coding, but they're more into the hardware part of things, the lower level stuff. Like we don't have a course in VLSI anymore. That's done in computer engineering. Computer engineering does do some programming, and they have some other things going on, but we really focus very heavy on the computing and the math. And as far as doing a double degree, one interesting thing, if you come in with a lot of random credits, AP credits, it's easier to do a double degree with math and Harper and CS than it is to do a minor. And so that's sort of an interesting thing. So hopefully that answers the question. They're slightly different, but they're overlap.
Yeah, no, I certainly think that covers it pretty well, and I appreciate you sharing your insight on that. So I'm going to ask one final question to our wonderful students here, and again, thank you all for joining us this evening before we wrap up totally. I know we've got a few seniors and everything like that, but if you can imagine way back when, when you were first coming to Binghamton and everything, what made you choose Binghamton over maybe some of the other schools that you were looking at? And I'm just going to go right in order from the top left of my screen, which that would mean that Allison, you would be first on that one.
Yeah, for me, Binghamton is a bit closer to home, but not quite too close. It's about 2 hours away from where I'm from. But I guess one of the really unexpected things that made me fall in love with Binghamton is that all of the CS majors are really close with each other. When I talk to people through internships or from home who go to other different schools studying computer science, it's a lot of the stereotype is that they kind of don't talk to each other. And I think that couldn't be farther from the truth at Binghamton. It's definitely a big sense of community. We all help each other out. And I walk into a classroom and I know every single face in there. And that's something that's made the experience so much more enjoyable for me and really cemented of like, I chose the right school.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that answer. Next, I'm going to turn it over to Henry.
Yeah, so I agree wholeheartedly with what Allison said. I think one of the biggest things about Binghamton is you go to other CS majors, they're friendly, they're helpful, they're more than willing to give you advice or like take like a half hour out of their day to talk to you about what classes you should take in the future, Some other schools have like toxic competition between people trying to like the ideology that I'm only doing better if you're doing worse. And I think that's completely non-existent at Binghamton, which I really like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, we certainly try to foster that collaborative environment here and making sure that, all of our students, do well and making sure that that competition doesn't really exist here. Next, I'll turn it over to Nicholas.
Yeah, hi. So Binghamton is home to me, and I've been to Binghamton University a lot throughout the years, and I would say that Binghamton is the reason why I'm doing computer science here today at Binghamton, because they actually came to my high school over the summer and did a robotics program where we did some coding. I was like, that's pretty cool. I think I'm going to be an engineer. And I ended up being like, actually, I'm not going to be an engineer. I'm going to be a computer scientist. But it really got me thinking and engaged with the program. And Binghamton University does have a lot of outreach to the community, and I love the community here. I love the community at Binghamton whenever I visit there. Everyone's always nice. Whenever I need directions, random students would point me where I was going, all that good stuff. And it's a great value school to go to as well. It's a SUNY school. It's subsidized. It's a very good price, and you're getting the same resources. You're getting great research, great clubs, great professors, and you're paying the same, way less than you'd pay to go to like MIT or any of those other colleges. So that's the main reasons why I chose Binghamton.
Hey, can't beat those reasons at all. Next, I'll turn it over to Madison.
Yeah, so I'm probably going here for some like non-transferable reasons. I came here because of the weather. It snows like the perfect amount here. It's really gorgeous in the nature preserve and snowy, but it's not like Buffalo where you're just buried for months. And then I also wanted to be able to take ballet classes, and you just can't do that at a lot of the polytechnics.
And that just goes to show that our computer science students love to explore other areas, and ballet is amazing to be a part of, taking those classes. So that's really great to hear. Next, I'll turn it over to Teresa.
Yeah, so I had a lot of people in my family go to Bing. So everyone was like, apply. So I applied and I got in, and then I was kind of deciding. And what was really the thing that made me choose Binghamton was the price, because everywhere else I was looking at these like expensive private schools, and it was just ridiculously expensive. And I'm also on the Excelsior scholarship here, so that was like the main driving reason for me to choose Binghamton. But like I'm really glad I'm here. Like Allison and Henry mentioned, the people in the CS department are my favorite part of Binghamton. I'm really glad I chose it. Even if the original reason was money, like, it was worth it.
Certainly love to hear that as well. And lastly, I'll turn it over to Alex to wrap up this question.
Yeah, definitely. I think my reason may have been a little bit meta because I remember coming to an open house and being in one of these presentations where Eileen lines up a bunch of seniors and juniors that all go down the line and say what internships and jobs they have. And that was super inspiring. And then going back to like what Nick was saying and everyone and a lot of people agreed, the value of the school. I was my like other contentious school was like RIT. And it was just so hard to like, why would I go there and spend all that money when like I could go to Binghamton and get a great education and a great fundamentals in CS and be able to learn all that and get all that exposure with the alumni and also wind up at a company or go to grad school or do amazing research. And so it didn't make any sense to go anywhere except Binghamton. And so I've really liked it here and I'm so glad I came.
Awesome. Well, I certainly love to hear that. So with that, I would like to, I'm going to wrap up everything now. So a big thank you to all of our panelists who joined us and volunteering their time here this evening and, all of our students and Eileen, of course, as well. So thank you all for joining us, and I do appreciate it. To all of our students who are watching, certainly please feel free to reach out to me, to Craig, to our office if you have any other questions about CS, about admissions, about anything else Binghamton related. We'll certainly be happy to answer it. I didn't know, were you going to say something there?
Well, someone had their hand up. I don't know if they have a question or not. I hand in the chat.
Right. Yeah, I see that. Josh, if you have a question, you can feel free to put it in the Q&A real quick. But with
and there was one other question that talked about getting a PhD here. We've had a number of students that went through our undergraduate program and then eventually either came back or stayed for PhDs and graduated from our program. So at some point we should feature them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, we love when our students do come and stick through. And, I can't wait to see Nick teaching one day, with getting your PhD and hopefully, sticking around and teaching here, right? So, so again, thank you so much for everyone joining this evening. Thank you all who are watching at home. And with that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.